if you're a solopreneur that struggles to motivate yourself to get the work done, this is exactly the video that you need to watch. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how you can start to motivate yourself to do the essential and hard work through the lessons I've learned throughout my time in the Marine Corps and starting my own business. So let's get right into it. So, the problem that I've faced and what a lot of people that I've encountered face is that we can be constantly distracted. For me, in my case, I was always distracted by video games, pornography, and social media, admittedly. Even during my time in the Marine Corps, where in my early 20s especially, I would always like get consumed in the information, the video games, the social media doom scrolling, and the pornography of it all when I would get in my free time. So for more context, I was in the reserves. So once a month I'd be back, or once a month I'd be fulfilling my military duties and obligations, and then between that time I would do my civilian stuff. I would be back home, uh, attend university, attend employment, etc. But a lot of my free time was filled with distraction, and it really consumed a lot of my life. And as a result, I couldn't focus on any deep or meaningful work. I The work felt pointless to me. If everything felt unclear, it was overwhelming to do the work, and it bled into my duties in the military as well, where it affected the way I was able to lead other Marines, work with other Marines, etc. So it was just a very debilitating thing for me. It affected my mental health and everything. And procrastination became the path of least resistance as well. I was procrastinating a lot, not just in the military, but like in my university studies, with doing things that were required, like even general life responsibilities. So I'm going to go through the steps that I've taken, that I've been able to solve this problem of being able to motivate myself to do the work, even though it's hard, even though we find it essential to do the work. I want to show you how you do it. And if you want to have a copy of this Google Doc and learn more about being able to save yourself time from distractions, I'm going to update this once again. Time from distractions. I'm sharing it in my free community, Mental Momentum, and I could show you real quick of what I mean. So I'll be opening up the Mental Momentum community, just opening around. So if you can see here, feel focused, finish more, scroll less, helping male solopreneurs eliminate wasted screen time and boost performance with military discipline. So if you like what you see here, feel free to join, and I will get right with you and help you out within the community. But back to the video. So the steps I've taken and what I suggest you do as a solopreneur is to start to find your why. Um, if we have a purpose, if we have something that is calling to us to do the work, if we have that intrinsic desire to pursue the work that we need to confront, it's going to be a lot easier to be able to get it done, regardless of whether we're motivated to do it or not. For example, my why in the Marine Corps was to serve my country and feel proud of who I'm becoming in the process. So if we think in the Marine Corps or in the military, there could be a lot of reasons why people want to pursue serving their own country. For me, being a United States Marine, that was my that was my why. I want to serve my country in itself. A lot of people want to see themselves. For example, they want to see how far they could push their bodies and their minds. They want to test their limits. That might be their why. Another why could be, I want to provide for my family. I want to get a better education for my kids. I want to do XYZ for someone else. There could be plenty of whys as to why, like why you want to do the work. And if you have that intrinsic desire, not just external factors, because that could be a big variable. There could be external factors that could come and go. But if you have that intrinsic desire to get the work done, then it's going to be a lot easier to get the work done and the essential, the hard work done, because you just have that purpose behind you. And without intrinsic desire and purpose, motivation can come few and far between. So, like, I'm going to show you like throughout the rest of this video that motivation in itself can fall uh, on the wayside. Like it's not something that we rely on 24/7. Of course, there's going to be discipline factors, and I'm going to go through that in just a moment. But if we don't have that intrinsic desire, like I said, that purpose, that why, motivation does come few and far between. So another thing that you should allow yourself to do is to make the work the path of least resistance. So you have your why, you have that intrinsic desire to pursue the work, but there's still some friction involved. Um, but in reality, the work shouldn't have to feel forced, but a natural part of your day. So my current process for this is that I like to write down my task the night before in a journal, and I use this journal right here. And I use several other things like journaling practice as well, like writing out my thoughts the night before, and I also like to plan. And I like to plan my steps ahead of time. So I'll share an example of what I have done today. I have actually a timetable of what I've done today. It's not perfect, but for like 06 to 6:15, um, I have it on the task to wake up and prep for a run. And then 06:15 to 07, I do the run. 07 to 08, I do my hygiene and I read my Bible because I want to exercise my faith in Christ personally. For 08 to 09, I work on a thumbnail and outline for this YouTube video specifically. And then I have several networking calls, so I have it scheduled. So 09 to 09:30, I have a networking call. 09:30 to 10, finish my YouTube outline if finished, and then like engage on the school platform, for example. So like I like to engage with a lot of my community members with other community members on other communities on school to network with people. So I like to just like for each time throughout my day, I like to time block certain aspects of this. And as you can see, I'm recording this video. That's also part of the timetable. It's from it's 2:09 p.m. right now as of recording this. So um, yeah, you can make it a simple example right here. So like we could do a right outline for YouTube video. You could do 100 minutes of engagement, school networking, and then you could like do send 10 new DMs to book more calls. So you just want to write down your tasks the night before. That's what I like to do. The reason why I do this is that I like to remove as much decision fatigue as possible. And if you have decision fatigue, that's going to create a lot of mental hurdles around your day. And it's going to be easy to fall into distraction. It's going to be hard to motivate yourself when you don't even know what to do throughout the day. So also another thing is to just like I said, design scheduling and like creating your itinerary, your tasks, and making sure you know what is the most essential and prioritized task for the day. So make sure the top task is done first, then work your way down and check them off, and understanding what is the priority for that day. Another thing to do within my own process is to keep my phone away from the bedroom when sleeping. So when I said I write my tasks the night before, I know what I need to get done throughout the day, the next day, and the next thing I do is to just I want to be able to go from waking up to getting the work done as fast as possible. And the way I do it is to start the night before by keeping my phone away from my bedroom when sleeping. And I want to make sure I get about 7 to 8 quality hours of sleep minimum. And this is important to me because when we start with a good evening routine, when you get good rest, when you're not distracted from the phone or the screens of the computers, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to transition from waking up the next day to just getting the things done throughout the day. Um, and speaking of transition from wake up to first task as soon as possible. So you could have a little routine for yourself of maybe you need to meditate for 5 to 10 minutes, maybe you need to drink water, use the bathroom. I like to keep it simple. So I sleep in upstairs and I have my kitchen downstairs. So I walk downstairs, go to the kitchen, drink some water, go to the bathroom if I need, and then I get right to work. So I make the transition as smooth as possible to get the work done. Um, and I also like to keep my environment clean and decluttered from distraction. So, like I said, keeping my phone away from my bedroom environment is going to be distraction free. So, I usually like to journal or write things down when I'm in my bedroom environment. The same goes um, relatively similarly with my working environment in my office space. I don't want to distract myself from video games or scrolling on social media from my phone because that if I introduce that in my environment, there's going to be a bunch of triggers and environmental cue or physical cues that is going to distract me from doing the work and therefore my motivation to be able to do the work because I'm so consumed in the distraction that it's going to be a lot harder for me to get the work done. I'm relying on a lot of willpower to actually try to get things done because of it. So we're going to talk about a little bit about dopamine for the next step, and it's called keeping a low stimulus state. So the thing about this here is that willpower is finite. And why I say that is that when we try to reach for our phones and we're in this high stimulus state, or normally speaking, when you're in a high stimulus, it also translates into low value activities, scrolling your phone, watching porn, playing video games, doing stupid stuff, being consumed in all this stuff. These could be dopaminergic things, and if you transition straight from that into a low stimulus and high value activity, such as writing an outline or writing a proposal for a client or prospects, crafting offers, making content, recording videos, things of that nature. These are like low stimulus things. If you're transitioning from high stimulus to low stimulus, you're going to use a lot of willpower, and that's not going to get you very far. So, for an example, in the military, I was in recruit training for up to 90 days, so it's a 90-day standard time frame, and I would say almost all the time we were maintaining a low stimulus state, very low. There was really no high dopamine things that surrounding us. We had no distractions at all. We had no phone, no internet, no TV, nothing. We basically shut off all communication from the outside world. So our opportunity to stimulate ourselves was basically zero. I think the only thing I was able to stimulate myself with was writing writing letters to my family because that was a fulfilling thing. I wanted to hear from them from time to time. I wanted to receive letters from them as I was going through training. That was the case for just about any other recruit there. That was our reward for doing the hard work that we've done. We do like an hour before we sleep to write letters and stuff. And that was probably the most stimulating thing for me because it was like we had nothing else going on. So for us to be able to do the work, um, we we weren't necessarily motivated to do the work. It was just an automatic thing. We didn't have a lot of things stimulating us from doing the work that was required. To be able to get up at 4 in the morning, like we felt groggy. We didn't really want to feel. We didn't really feel like it, but it was just an automatic thing. It was just part of our day, natural part of our day. So we kept a low stimulus state to be able to get the work done. Um, how you could do this in a practical sense um, around here, like I said, when going back to the path of least resistance to make the work the path of least resistance is to keep the phone away, like from your bedroom and also from the office, wherever your workspace is, during sleep and working hours, respectively. That's one example. And also, you could do blocking apps as well during working hours to create friction. So if you um, are tempted to scroll on your phone, if you need to have your phone, for example, within your workspace, um, creating friction from scrolling on your phone, maybe putting on a blocker app. I like to use Opal, for example, since I use an iPhone. You could, if you have Android, you could use Regain or other apps. There are many other apps that work like this. Blocking apps and creating friction from high stimulating things and those low value activities are going to help you get that low stimulus high value activities done more, because you're not a you're you're putting that friction from the things that don't put value into your life, essentially. So another step is to actually embrace boredom, um, or stillness. I like to call it stillness. So um, like I said, in the Marines, and during recruit training, especially, the most entertaining thing I could do outside of training was to write to my parents. That was it. And this ability to have stillness and boredom in my life was actually able to um, craft that ability to get the work done, um, and be motivated continuously and stay disciplined throughout it. And a practical example of what you can do with this is to find areas in your life where you're idling. So if you're in the bathroom, sitting on the toilet, or lying in bed, eating food, waiting in line at the grocery store, use these opportunities to not even scroll on your phone. If this is tough for you, say for example, if you are driving outside, or driving out somewhere, you want to if you if you can, you could put your phone away in your glove compartment in your car if you're driving, or if even if you're a passenger, maybe just leave your phone inside the car and have it for emergency purposes only. If you need to actually call 911 or someone, or call someone, you go back to the car. But using these times to not uh, fall for distractions during your time, so you could build that focus and build the wherewithal to be able to actually pursue more work, because uh, um, you're not giving in to those distractions, especially during those times of idleness. So I think embracing boredom, in my opinion, is an underrated thing to incorporate in your life. I do this all the time, where like, even when I'm sitting on the toilet, I don't like to scroll my phone. It's it's just a practice. Um, and like when I'm out in the restaurant, I'm either sitting in silence or talking to someone. I don't like to pull my phone out just for the sake of pulling my phone out. If I need to pull it out for looking up directions, then sure, I'll do that. But using those times to not just consume distraction, these are going to be good practices in your life, in my opinion. And then last thing I would suggest is to start training focus with short daily deep work sessions. So when you have a task that you've written out, and say you're on the next day, and that you're looking at the task in front of you, if you've implemented some of these things already, um, and you're still not able to focus and be motivated to do the work, it's just something that you have to build over time. Focus is a muscle, and it must be built. So one thing I do like to suggest practically is that you could set a timer for 25 minutes or however long. You can consider this like a Pomodoro, a technique. I like to have a physical timer. So anything like 25 minutes, I uh, I rotate the timer. You could use this on your computer as well, or your phone. I don't suggest the phone because, like I said, if you don't have to have your phone with you, just like keep it away from the workspace. But if you're working on the computer, for example, you could easily open up a timer, 25 minutes, work in a distraction free environment. And something that's optional that you could do is turn on instrumental music or binaural beats. I like I've actually recently tried out the binaural beats. They actually work quite well. Um, But sometimes I like to like listen to lo-fi ambience, instrumental, classical music even. I like to keep it. I like to keep some variety in the music, so that's an optional thing. If you like to work in silence, that'll work for you too. But the point is to try to keep as low stimulation as possible, so you're you're able to consistently do the work without trying to rely on the high stimulation. So binaural beats, in my opinion, work well for that if you prefer to listen to music. And then just knock out that first major task of the day and try to get it done within that time. If you have that timer, it's going to force you to actually try to get the work done within that set time frame. It's like a soft deadline that you give yourself. So uh, if you're working on like a larger project right now and you have to break it down into smaller pieces, then maybe you need to commit to like maybe 50 minutes for that one piece of the project and then knock it out, and do that on a daily basis. Like I said, focus is a muscle and it must be built. This None of this is going to be an overnight fix, but these are my recommendations of being able to motivate yourself and to do the work that's required. So, what have been the outcomes that I've experienced throughout this? So, I've had a lot of less reliance on distractions throughout following this process. I've gained increased clarity and structure throughout my day, and I've been able to develop a lot of consistency in these deep work blocks, and I've built motivation through rewarding the progress. Because at the end of the day, you want to have the work that you do be a fulfilling thing. And if you have all these distractions pulling you away from doing the work that will fulfill you, then you're robbing yourself of any opportunities to have that motivation and genuine reward. This is the dopamine that you want. This like rewarding yourself from the actual work. You want to reward the work and have the work itself be rewarding. That's an underrated thing. This is the dopamine you want. This is a great source of dopamine, and if we're getting that dopamine from other sources like the scrolling and the pornography and the video games, which I've often done throughout my own life, then it's going to pull us away and pull away that motivation and drive to be able to pursue any of the actual meaningful work that's going to make a lasting difference in your life. So that is important. And if you have so if you're interested, I currently do have 5 spots open to work with me one-on-one to save hours of your day from distractions. And if you're curious, there's a link to apply in the description. First come, first serve. So in conclusion, what have we learned today? So one is to find your deeper why. You want to attach intrinsic value to the work. And systems beat willpower. Design your environment to make the work easier. You want to remove friction from the work that's required so that it's more inevitable to get that work done. And then you want to do start small, break the task down, and train that focus and build that focus muscle over time. And this is the process that I followed, especially throughout this year. I've been doing this consistently for the past 9 months now, and now I've been reaping the benefits of being able to motivate myself continuously. It's a fulfilling thing, and I absolutely love doing the work that I do. It's a really meaningful thing to me. So there you have it. Hopefully this can help you out. And yeah, if you like this video, leave a comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will catch you in the next one. See you later.